Okay, so we're calling the meeting to order at 7:50.
Hmm.
Are you getting that echo?
I'm not.
I'm not.
I was.
All right, let's see what happens.
Okay, it's gone now.
Okay, good. All right, public comment. I don't see anybody. Okay, approval of the August minutes. And again, I apologize for not getting them out sooner. I thought I had, but guess my memory's not as good as it used to be.
Make a motion to accept.
Thanks, Vince. Second.
I'll second it.
Vince, thank you. All those any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes from August, raise your hand. So I see it. Aye, unanimous. Okay, finance. We're on track. It's only the July, August, September, third month of the year, and we're right where we should be. Okay, on to the fun stuff. Programming, Laura, what do we got?
Programming. Yeah, so far we're off to, again, we're, still a little bit slow, but we're kind of picking up. Most of the reason that we've been slow is because we've had a lot of opportunities to record sports, except the weather chose not to agree.
Mm-hmm.
So that also affected our arts festival recording. But for the most part, we've got we've got a good amount of sports that we're recording. Some of the more other events, like library events, are picking up. We've been continuing.
Can you just give me which sports we're covering?
We are covering boys and girls soccer,
Mm-hmm.
field hockey. Trying to think of what else.
Football.
Soccer, field hockey, yeah, football home games we're live streaming. Oh, and girls volleyball. So those are all the ones that are available. And again, they're being recorded based on videographer availability, and all those are being edited for broadcast.
And do we generally have videographers available to cover what you want to cover?
Yeah, I mean, it's not every game is covered, but that's fine, because basically we've had anywhere from 1 to 3 games a week, which I really can't ask for more than that. Because if we cover everything, then it's just sort of overload.
Okay. Okay, so then you start to talk about the library.
Library programming has picked up. Tonight, Richie will be recording a panel discussion called "What is Censorship," which should be interesting. And then the senior center has, had continued with their programmings, and we're recording those as well. I recorded the post-high school planning through THS's counseling department. And I just shot an email to Kathy Hilzer, who's the counseling chair, and to Todd Manuel, who's the principal. We had a brief in-person conversation that night, but I just followed up because Kathy had said a lot of what she said is the same thing year after year, and what changes are the dates that applications are due. So I just, and a lot of and then the discussions I had with Todd Manuel were, again, back to school stuff. We had a parent orientation for back to school, and it was the night before the first day, and we were discussing how hard it is to find a night when parents are available. So I had proposed to both of them that we can do those things in studio. And again, especially if it's the same information year after year, where all we have to do is change the date of the presentation and maybe a couple of dates. So I haven't heard back, but again, it's the beginning of the school year. Kathy Hilzer was receptive to it. I know Todd is, up to his eyeballs in running the high school. So understandably, I haven't heard back. But that is, the offer's out there. I was just at Freiburg yesterday recording a promo for Restaurant Week with Rena Bacalar. So we're going to do another short promo for that, advertise the participating restaurants, the sponsors, and give a little shout out to Freiburg. So that just has to be edited. What else is going on? Oh, we did the 50th reunion. I recorded that and put that together. That went on the station. That's on video on demand. I shared a link with the organizers of the event, who shared that on Facebook, which got a lot of very nice, very kind, positive reviews.
So that's Trumbull High graduating class.
Yeah, the class of
70.
1973 had their 50th reunion, and they were actually either the first or second graduating class from the current
New
building.
high school. Yeah. New high school. Yeah. What's this?
So we took them on a tour around, around the school. So I followed them, and it was interesting because one of the people who was on the tour would say, "Oh, when we were here, remember this was this." So it was kind of a then and now. So it was interesting to get that perspective. And then at the end, I asked some graduates just to kind of, look back on what they, what do they think? What do you think your 18-year-old self would think of today's Trumbull High, and what do you remember? Things like that. So we put that together. I am working with Katie Boland again, so we're very excited for election night. So that is underway. The planning stages for that is underway. Kate, we think that Katie may actually be able to be a floor manager this year and hand off the hosting responsibilities to her students, which I think is great.
Awesome.
Again, let's let the kids shine. The only difference is that the marching band had to borrow back some of their props for the fall show. They swear they'll be back in time for election because their big nationals, their MetLife show is the Saturday before, although I have not, I don't know what they're going to look like. So, because I know they're repurposing them. So I'm not sure, we'll see what happens. Worst case, I'll find something else to, put behind and break up that black curtain.
Well, I would plan for that ahead of time. You don't want to be aiming for that at the last minute. And I have to be away on business that week. Of course, yeah. So I'm not going to be able to be at a polling place or anything. So we just want to make sure we get, we have somebody at each place. And Jens, you said that you were not going to be able to help with the graphics. So
no, there's way too much going on. I would feel bad about, getting a week up to and then dropping it. So
is there some way, Laura, that you think we could connect with a student or somebody else to do that stuff for us? I mean, we have some time now. We've got a good month.
Right.
I would just, sorry, Laura,
That's okay.
Kate, I would just say that this is really, really complex stuff. I think the best option is the whiteboard or if we were to do it today, excuse me, the best option is the notepad, or I forget, there was some paper, big board that the votes came out on last time.
What I would actually like to do is bring back the older graphics that we had used, where basically all it is just, a list of names and headshots, like a table, names, and then the other column is just the results.
I like that idea too, Laura.
Star next to it.
The last two times I saw that, it was just so small that you couldn't see it.
Right, and it's, like I said, Jens, the Google graphs, like you said, you're right. It's just, there are most of the boards, like there are so many candidates for any one board or commission that to make a pie chart or a bar graph, you're not going to see, you know what I mean? The margins are so tiny.
I agree.
See that. So, but what we had done previously, if you go back to I think 2017, 2015, it's just a simple list of the names. It almost looks like, like a ballot sheet.
Don't get me wrong, Laura. That's the one I'm talking about. I
like it, I'm sorry.
I like it, but it was just way too small. It has to be properly scaled so you could see it, especially if you're watching on a cell phone. That's my only comment. Either that or the paper, the board, that worked really well.
Okay.
And Kate, you need to fill in your absentee ballot and drop it off. It's going to be close. You can't just leave.
I haven't gotten it yet. So.
Oh, okay.
I submitted for it, but I haven't gotten it. So.
All right. since
Yeah,
you're away.
I will be. Yeah, I already sent my application in, but I haven't gotten the
Okay.
actual ballot yet.
Yeah, and if
No.
I'll be in touch, I can send you the older templates just to, like once I get them up to date. If you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. Like if you have any suggestions on how to make it more viewable on, on a mobile screen,
Right,
once I
right.
get those ready to go, that would definitely be helpful because again, that was when, they were going full screen, but people were watching it on a television, not on a
Yeah.
phone. So now that
Um,
we have that ability, we need to be mindful of that.
Are we doing any rehearsals? Last time the audio was a problem, and
Yeah,
I really want to make sure that this comes. I mean, based on some of the earlier events, this would really be important to have
yeah.
run smoothly. So I'm wondering if we could do a trial run the week before, or how you normally do it. I've actually never been in the studio while this is going on.
Well, first of all, you're welcome to join us.
Oh,
Any
I'm
and all of
certainly,
you are
yeah,
welcome
I'm
to
hoping
join.
to.
We usually the kids are not, because it's students. They will not. They usually we do a run through the night before on Monday, or
Okay.
Monday after school. But I do want to do a run through earlier to familiarize myself because the the switcher is back and running. There's a couple other things that just need to be replaced that I want to make sure that the night of, I'm comfortable with what we're doing. So definitely I do want to run through those things.
But it's still the same switcher we've had for a while, right?
Right. But last election, we did not use it because if you recall there was a Black Magic component that wasn't working.
Yeah, I
hadn't been
remember.
replaced yet. Yeah. So we used the equipment we used to live stream football games,
Okay,
not the studio itself.
right.
So I want to familiarize myself with the studio equipment.
And who's is there a designated technical person to make sure that the audio, is that you?
I'm the everything
You're
right
the
now.
everything.
Yeah. I will definitely loop in Jeff, but the problem is there really isn't anybody on site who's familiar with the system. Like IT, yes, there is an IT department at Trumbull Public Schools, but Jeff really doesn't know very much
it's
about
different.
it.
It's different than IT. It's something completely.
Yeah, yeah.
It does. So Matt Braxic is doing woodworking and other things. Is he also doing video, or does he
Not
teach
until
video
the
classes?
spring, but he is not available election night.
What about, is Katie Dunn around? How familiar is RMAT?
RMAT, again, I mean, it's unfortunate because the person who is most intimately familiar with it next to me was Sean.
I'll come. Well, not, I'm not saying that I can do this without any issues, but I would love to come up, sometime way before, and we could go through it.
That would be a tremendous help, Jens. Thank you. Because again, just even to share the mental load would be a huge help.
I'm really, I can't imagine what you went through on that graduation day. That was horrible.
Oh, it was like flop sweat.
But the pressure on you must have been absolutely horrible. So
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So
okay.
can you guys set something up in the
we'll set something up
so that you get together and do some run throughs so that
Yes.
Yep.
And Jens, can you be there that night, or are you
I
gonna...
will. Yep.
Okay.
Great. That'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. So that is where we are for election. I mean, Katie and I sat down and sort of went through, what we envision in terms of, the talent and where they're going to be and where her kids will be, the students' roles. So we're anticipating doing something similar to last year where you'll have anchors and then you'll have commentators, like 2 sets again. I also asked Ryan Tyler, he should be available to do the audio for us, which would be helpful as well.
Okay, good. So is Katie going to direct and you're going to produce?
She's gonna be the floor manager, so she'll be the one, like, she'll have a headset and I'll be in the control room and she'll be cueing the kids in terms of,
Which is what
okay,
Katie
yeah.
Dunn used to do.
Yes.
Okay.
Vince, are you signed up to do the big board number?
I will be there.
Excellent.
Okay,
And
so
what's our, sorry, Kate, just one quick
Mhm.
follow-up. What's our access policy to the studio during the event? Well, there's two things. Do we have any candidates coming in before the election to talk? Like we had that in the past, the representatives from the Democrats and the Republicans would come in and talk about their slate.
You mean election night?
No, I think maybe it was, it was election night.
It
Actually.
used to be election night and we moved away from that to have the students because it was a little, there were nights where it can be awkward. It can be awkward for the candidates, or the representatives.
Just curious. And then who gets access to the studio during or immediately before and during the broadcast?
I fill out a building use form. So we have, the custodians and all the, to dot our I's and cross our T's in that respect.
Mhm.
And the people who have access, again, I have, it's Katie Boland's students, because other than, the TCTV staff and crew who are
What
working.
if we receive requests from either of the parties or the general public to come and be present?
We're not the ones counting the votes. We're not presenting official results.
No, I know that, Kate, but
Right, but it's a live set. I mean, we've never had that request before, and
I'll just sorry, Lara, I'll just tell you why I'm bringing it up.
Okay.
Because there's been some criticism of the station
Mhm.
by certain individuals in the community,
Mhm.
where they feel that the station deliberately is promoting or not covering, or that the station is biased deliberately
Mhm.
in its coverage. And I just want to make sure that we address that ahead of time, like for instance now,
Mhm.
where
How are we biased? In what way? Programming we're covering?
so we as the Trumbull Community TV, we have been accused of cutting certain public comments short at BOE meetings and at town council meetings. So
there was one issue with the town council meeting, and again, that was brought to my attention. And it was not, again, I understand, I know where that's coming from. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And and I will take the blame for that, and that was purely accidental. I did not download a file.
Lara, don't take. I mean,
no, I know. I'm just explaining to you. I'm not
to go around it. It is what it is. But
right. But like I said, that one instance was brought to my attention. I apologize profusely, and I said, look, there were two files. I forgot to take one because it was a recognition of students for, I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
But I went back, I got the file, I re-edited the meeting, and I posted it on YouTube, and I went on Facebook and said, hey guys, my bad.
Lara, it's not. I'm not criticizing. I mean,
no, I'm just
saying.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, there
Okay.
is, from certain people in the community, there is some completely unfounded distrust, and I just want to make sure that doesn't somehow escalate, and if it does, that we have, as a commission, we have a stand or an opinion on it. Will we allow the public to attend? Because I could see the argument being, well, we want to make sure we get fair coverage of this, and based on what's happened in the past, we don't think we're going to get fair coverage. And there's no criticism of you, Laura, whatsoever.
Right. No, I understand.
I'm bringing it up because the tensions are somewhat higher than
they've been
were.
escalating over
Okay,
time.
can we stop for a second? What other instances are people talking about? Because this meeting is a public meeting. Anybody that has an issue with what we're doing should be coming to us and commenting during the public comment. This is a closed set, in my opinion. I do not
agree.
think
Okay.
that should have anybody from any party on unless we've invited them for their commentary.
That's fine, Kate. That's really what I wanted us to just consider. And you're not gonna, the people who complain are not gonna be out in a recorded public event and saying it's all in innuendo and you know,
social media, I presume.
So I think if our approach is to not let anyone who hasn't been invited onto the set, that's fine. That's easy enough. That's easy enough to explain.
Jens, I think we also need to make it clear that, you know, by not invited, like we're not inviting any representatives from the parties, and it's not, you know, as Kate said, it's a closed set. It's, you know, we don't have I just don't feel, first of all, I don't feel that it's appropriate to have the general public in the control room while we're running a live broadcast. And there's really nowhere else for them to go to oversee us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And inviting is totally the wrong word to use. So, you know, we have our team.
Right.
And if you're not on the team, you're not getting in.
Well, and I mean, if you think of it this way, like if this were any other network, you wouldn't be, you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't be able to sit in on NBC's election night coverage. So, I mean, I understand that this is public access and it's a little bit different, but we are, you know, we are an education and government station. We're not public access. We don't even, I mean, there was an instance, I don't know if you recall, Kate, I'm sure you remember, where we had a member of the public wanting to have wanting to host interviews with the candidates and have TCTV record and broadcast it. And per our policy, we do not do that. We are not, as I said, we're not a public access station. We're not a production studio per se. So our, you know, our mission and our, you know, charter from the FCC is to cover education and government, you know, and we don't, you know, people can accuse us of editing, but I would like to see what specifically they're pointing to, because, you know, we're not cutting off comments in Board of Ed meetings. We do not, we start recording.
Lara, I know that, you know that. The reason I'm bringing it up is that there are individuals in this town, taxpayers, you know, so they do help pay for this.
Right.
There are individuals in this town who would potentially, you know, bring up some really crazy ideas. And as long as we say that if you know, the production team who is in the building during the production, that's it. It's very easy to understand, and there's no interpretation on that. So
do we need to post that somewhere, or is that how we respond if someone asks?
I would just leave it for us to be aware of, because some of these things, like the criticism that Lara received, is just completely nuts. I mean, trying to imply that someone is deliberately trying to, you know, turn a discussion one way or the other is just ridiculous. So I want to make sure we have, and it's in the minutes or whatever, that this is what we do, but this is our approach. That's
right.
all.
And yeah. And I mean, I didn't mean to get defensive. I was just explaining, like, I was aware of an issue.
I know.
If it was like I said, when it's my fault, I fall on the sword. I apologize. I do my best to make it right. And I explain what happened. And that's all I can do. And if, you know.
But you also work with technology, and you can't apologize every time technology breaks.
No.
You know, so anyway.
No, I know. And again, I know that people sometimes have unrealistic expectations of what technology can do. So, and I understand that.
Okay.
So.
Okay, say Ed or Vince, any thoughts, comments, input on this?
Well, I think if we start getting involved in social media and everything that people say, you know, like you said, Kate, that there are avenues to address if anyone has concerns.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we need to deal with. I mean, people post all kinds of crazy stuff on social media, and you know, I think we need to not get wrapped up in that, or try to defend anything that someone posts.
I love the don't.
I just
shade.
think just having a list of having a list in advance of who will be allowed in the studio on election night. That list created in there, then there's no other questions about people show up and you're either on the list or not.
That's
Okay.
really
Kind of like a red carpet event. Okay.
I'm thinking more of like a, like a call sheet. You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
closed movie set, like if you're not on the call sheet,
Yeah.
sorry.
But generally, it will be the Trumbull High School students who are on air.
Mhm.
It'll be Katie Boland, who's their advisor. It'll be you and whoever else of the TCTV staff.
Right, our
that you
crew.
need.
Exactly.
Vince and Jens.
Mhm.
And everybody from the commission should be on the list just in case. So it's just
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes,
agree.
okay, yep. Even though I'll be thinking about you. Well, I'll be trying to stream it from New Orleans,
Yeah.
where I'll be, so.
If you're in New Orleans, you're not going to be streaming at 8 o'clock in the evening.
On a business thing, yeah, I'm hopefully out of dinner by 8 o'clock and able to stream. I so wish, I couldn't even believe they scheduled it election week, because it's an industry association meeting, like, we care
You can
about
watch
what
the
happens.
recording. You can watch the recording later, but
Okay, so anything else, Laura, because our next meeting will be the week after the election. So
Right.
do we need to have another meeting in between, or you're good? Or do you just want to let me know if you want to call it?
I will keep you guys posted as
Okay,
we get closer if we need something, because I'm just starting, to ramp that up right now.
and I'll visit you in the studio for
Absolutely, yeah.
at least a couple of hours just to make sure that.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
there's
let's
two of us.
open the question of a meeting between now and our November 14th meeting, I think is what it would be. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Anything else on programming, Laura?
I have another student videographer who just
Yay.
Cool.
Yay! Yeah, actually, again, ironically, through social media, again, somebody had posted on Moms of Trumbull that, they had submitted, I'll have to follow up. Somebody submitted a form on the website and it didn't come to me. They just got a generic form response. So I said, oh, here's my email. God bless you.
Yeah, yeah.
And now we have another student videographer. So
That's
yay.
excellent. That's
Yeah.
really
Let me know, get
Yeah.
them over to me so I can get their vendor number and we can
Yeah, I
start
will
sending them
copy
things.
you I'll copy you when I send out the W-9 and the vendor form. So
Perfect.
that is pretty much, I think that's pretty much all the programming stuff. So yeah, I've been busy, we're just chugging along doing our thing. Trying,
Nice.
reaching out, trying to get programming, but now it's going to be all election all the time.
All right, let's move on to technical. So any update on the council chambers video distribution system? Mr.
Bill,
Bell.
would you like to speak to that? Because we just met with the DNR yesterday.
Yep, hot off the press. Yesterday at 4 p.m., we met with DNR in the council chambers to review the whole project and just double check. They wanted to look at the room and see, the actual guys who are doing the installation wanted to look at the room and see, what they were dealing with, kind of visualize where things were going and this, that, and the other thing. So they're going to probably be scheduled early November. So we're looking at that week of the 6th. I just have to check in with Alicia in the First Selectman's office to make sure we block out the council chambers. It's a little, we'll have to see what we do because they're not certain that date's firm. That's kind of what they just penciled in. Obviously, we have to make sure we're available. The only major meeting that week is the Thursday town council meeting, so we'll have to juggle that if we are scheduled for the week of the 6th with DNR. So that's I guess the last major hurdle is scheduling, and then we'll get them in and see what happens.
Are they doing any training, Bill?
DNR is going to be responsible for training videographers, and it's largely the same system as what we already have at the Board of Ed. So some of the videographers are familiar with that system, and it's just different equipment in a different room.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, that's great news. Okay, backup storage cloud decision. I think we were looking at for recommendations on technology and our storage policy. Did we get anywhere on that?
Yeah, so we've met again last month. We are making progress. We've made key decisions. One, in fact, that we are definitely going to cloud storage and getting away from hard disk drive storage, being just more secure and over time. Secondly, we think there's no issue complying with town retention policies because they are very limited in terms of how long things need to be kept. The big issue right now we just need to work through is once you go on the cloud, obviously our current policy of keeping everything forever will eventually get costly, particularly as high definition and file size continues to increase. And so we just need to fine tune how long we want to keep things. And basically we're going to work up a system of once programs are created, they'll be tagged at the time they're created for a retention policy. And then that will just go there. So we're going to be speaking, we do want to outreach to the Trumbull Historical Society to see if there's any guidance there. Because really there's just the idea that, there's something you just want to keep more, not for anyone's ever going to watch it, but in case something happens where, the person goes on to become the football star or president of the United States or something, and you want to see their high school speech or something like that. Things like that from a archiving basis. We're going to put some guidelines around that. So that's a little more time for that.
Right.
I reached out to the Trumbull Historical Society, but I have not heard back yet. So I will keep.
Are they a town organization or are they just a citizen run?
They're I think they're like a not-for-profit. They're their own entity outside of the town.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then last time, Laura, you had talked about closed captioning capability that you were, I think, going to be looking into that more.
Yes, there is Cablecast, which is our scheduling software, which runs, all of our programming and hosts our video on demand system, and we stream through, has the option to close caption. They sell it in hourly buckets. So you buy 500 hours of captioning. It will caption, the meetings, and then say we have a town council meeting that we caption, and it's an hour and a half long. We use an hour and a half of that bucket, and then it's captioned forever and ever. I apologize. I do not have the total number of, say, government meetings and, what an estimate of how much we would need.
Well, I think what we need to do is figure out if we want to do this, that this is the time now to figure out what we want to buy so that because the budget season's going to start. I'm going to have a budget in December for next July's fiscal that starts, next July.
Right. So if we, if the commission decides that this is something that we want to pursue, then I can spend a little more time determining how many hours of government for instance, government programming, if that's what we choose to caption, as opposed to adult education programming, or if we do decide to do both, then I have some.
So what do we think about that? I don't know where I stand on it. Honestly, I don't know. I could see it becoming a lot. Do you have any idea of what kind of cost we're talking about?
I don't have the information in front of me, but I believe, hold on. Here's the thing though, for the government meetings, if they're in chambers, and Board of Ed, and we do stream them to YouTube as we do for Board of Ed, I believe YouTube has its own captioning capabilities. I don't know how accurate it is.
Most, I mean, I had issues this morning, so I'm not logged into my Zoom client, but if you're logged in to Zoom, you could go click on your profile picture and then go to accessibility options, and then you will get closed captions on this meeting.
Right.
So I wouldn't pay for it. That's just that's kind of a blanket statement, but the way browsers and end consumer devices are being instrumented today to actually do closed captioning in real time, I wouldn't do it.
Ed, it looks like you're going to say something.
Nope.
But does that, but I guess what I'm trying to understand is that only for streaming programming that there would be the in-browse option?
No, you can go to any YouTube, Vimeo, they all have the caption button, and you basically just click it and the program is captioned. There are occasional mistakes where, you know, something isn't spoken clearly, or there's a it's ubiquitous, or there's two meanings to the same word is what I'm trying to say. But
Yep.
Next time you're on YouTube, just click the caption button, and you'll get captions, and it is in real time. I mean, I'm sure there is
but that would not apply if you were watching the station on a television.
Web stream.
No, it will only be on the web. Oh no, I mean, if you're watching if you're not watching it on an internet connected device, then you wouldn't have. Then you'd have to pay for.
So maybe that's something, at least if that's functional, you know, if that's a capability that's already available, maybe that's something we could put on the website, Laura, to say, you know, what would you call it? You know, an FAQ. Can I get? Is there closed captioning? Say anything that is internet accessed from the station, you can activate the closed captioning function on that. Is that something like that, right? Mm-hmm. That it's already there if you're accessing our programming via the internet.
I guess the question though is, do you want to for television, right? Is that correct?
Well, I was trying to make the distinction, and so I think what Laura is saying is that Cablecast would give us the ability to do that on our television distributed product.
I just did it. I just did a quick. I looked on their site, and you can, if they do live captioning, and it's also file-based captioning. So it's, you know, like you can transcribe existing files, or it'll provide real-time transcription of audio from a live streaming event. So, I mean, we haven't been live streaming onto the station. We've been live streaming on YouTube. I mean, we've been live streaming onto the web streaming. So that would live caption that. And then, you know, anything that we edit, which would be adult education for broadcast, it can caption. But that's like an opt-in, you know what I mean? You would have to decide, okay, do we want this captioned versus, like I said, government versus, but anything that's going out.
That's the one we have to pay for, right?
Yes, it's $3,700 for 500 hours or $6,500 for 1,000 hours.
Okay, so I think you have to do all the math on what our programming, but my point is saying that capability, it sounds like already exists for any of our internet access programming. Is that correct? If you're going to access our programming via the internet, YouTube, right, being the primary one, there is functionality in the YouTube platform that would allow you to. Is that right, Jens?
Yes, and a lot of players, you know, media players have the same function. Laura,
Laura, can you send files over to the station already with closed captions? And not pay for it?
I believe there's a way you could do that in Premiere Pro, but I don't know offhand, because honestly, this has just been something that we've sort of discussed, kind of like, do we need to address this in terms of accessibility?
And we get a technical call with Comcast about, you know, what it is they're offering.
Comcast or Cablecast?
Oh, sorry, Cablecast.
That price is outrageous, by the way.
So. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's quite.
But what I'm trying to get at is, if we can already solve the problem for at least some of the way that our programming is being accessed. I know we think of ourselves as a channel, TV channel, but we're accessible in other ways. So if some of our audience can view a closed caption product,
right,
we should tell them that, I think.
Anything on YouTube, right. Our YouTube channel provide, because YouTube provides captioning. So any programming that's on YouTube can be viewed with captions
Or
turned on.
maybe that's what you put on the website is the
Right,
little
maybe I'll
one set of instructions. It says, if
Yep.
you're watching our programming on YouTube and you want to see it closed captions, here's what you do.
I'll put that back up on the homepage, because I had done, I don't know if you recall, but there was the streaming, there's the how-to streaming, and then I'll just, move that down, and above the folds, I'll put up the how to watch a meeting on YouTube with captioning. There was another similar, like, step-by-step. So I'll put
Does
that
that
back.
make sense? At least to let people know what's already there. And then a call with Cablecast to see what we can do for free, basically, for our.
I don't think that's a cable. I can look into that for Premiere Pro.
Okay.
Lara,
I'm not sure.
it would be so much work to if you were to put the
Yeah,
captions
I was
on
just gonna
it.
say, I think a
Oh,
lot of
yeah,
that.
I'm looking at the Trumbull Community TV Facebook page so they're doing the Pledge of Allegiance, and it's perfectly captioned.
Okay.
All you do
So-
is flip the switch and say, I want to see it captioned.
So YouTube and Facebook provides captioning. Okay, great.
They all and to Ed's point, I think the cost is really opportunistic as far
Yeah.
as.
Yeah.
Did
Agreed.
anyone try clicking on the profile and setting the accessibility options to have this subtitled?
No, I have not.
No.
Yeah.
Well, it's just click your profile, say accessibility, and then caption. But I mean, that stuff does work. But if we set up a meeting with Cablevision and see what they're offering for all that money, at least we know what's out there and whether it's appropriate for us. And if it's a feature that we need, then it's always a cost benefit. Is it worth $6,000? And if it is, then maybe we should try it. I don't think.
I honestly did not get that impression. Again, that was just something that I had looked into to see, what is it, what has it. Again, my notes are in the studio, and I apologize that I do not have them.
Yeah, I would expect you to carry them around.
I know
everywhere to the band events, everywhere.
Yeah. All the time, all the things.
So let's not lose track of this, because usually I don't have to turn my budget in until January. So I know post-election, maybe we might have a little more time to dig into this to make sure if we want to allocate any money. I'm not up for this $3,700 thing, but maybe there's other options
There's an ad hoc pricing option. But the 500 and 1,000-hour buckets are like 12 or 11 cents a minute, and then ad hoc is 18 cents a minute, or $10.80 per hour. I don't know. Again, I think
let's pick this back up at the next meeting.
Okay.
After the election.
Okay.
In the meantime, just very quickly, go to our Facebook page and then look at the Board of Education meeting, which is the first meeting that comes up. I think it's the 4th or 5th post down, and you could see, if you hover over it, there's a CC option, and if you enable it, it has closed caption. That, I mean, you don't have to do it now, but that's how it works. And this isn't coded into the
I'm actually on my Jens, I'm actually on my phone. I don't know if you could see. I don't know if you could see this. If this will focus on it. No, it won't.
No.
But it's I'm watching it. I don't even have the audio on, and I'm on my phone, and it is automatically captioning it as it runs.
Right, and yeah, it's.
So again, I'll just I'll put up the YouTube how-to. And then after the election, I think once the new VDS, once the video delivery system is installed, then more meetings can be live streamed to YouTube, which will give us that caption opportunity.
I mean, it's really, I think all the major platforms support it.
Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Anything else on that? Okay, next topic, social media posting content and schedule.
I'm doing it.
Yes, doing, I think that's sort of, well, we'll get back to this on the Fairfield U connection, because I think that's what we were going to be trying to find was a
Yeah.
social media post person. And then promos for original programming. I just carried that over from that you were working on Get Out the Vote in the class of the 73 reunion. Do we need to update?
Well, I think both of those, fold into that Fairfield U opportunity.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to the Trumbull High connection. So there's going to be a Todd Manuel and Matt, or who was going to be in that meeting?
I think it was Todd and
Reaching out to me, Todd, and determine who our liaison will be.
right.
And I couldn't tell from my notes when that was happening. I think you're just trying to get on his schedule, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so still trying to get on.
I need to do that. I apologize.
Okay. Okay. And then last but not least, our Fairfield U connection. So we're connected with the School of Media at Fairfield U. We were talking about paid and unpaid internships. We have money to pay interns.
Mhm.
And I think the last note I have is that we're thinking social media support might be a good place to start. Is that still true?
Right. I believe I had, did I write out a little? I'm pretty sure I wrote out and distributed a little blurb for what we were hoping. I have to find that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Like, do you want me to put that in the minutes? I mean, how's the actual recruiting happening? Like, is that blurb for somewhere at Fairfield U to be posted? So
yeah, I apologize. I have not reached out, but what my plan is to contact our the point person that Ed and I met with. Was it Patrick? Was that his name?
Hmm.
And then just
That's
say,
right.
hey, we've got an opportunity. What needs to happen next? So that's my
okay. Patrick, I got a few. Okay, sounds good.
yes, in the recap, yes, that's right. So I had sent everybody a recap, and then at the bottom there was a proposal to Fairfield University. Student will be responsible for creating reels and video shorts to post to TCTV social media sites /website /station as interstitials. Student will be provided raw footage from recorded events and will work with program manager on additional projects as needs arise.
Can you resend that to me? When did that go out? Because somehow I missed it.
That's okay. It was from a while ago. I will resend it to
Okay, that would be good.
Yeah.
All right. See email from.
Yeah.
Laura. Okay. Any other issues? Any other questions, comments? Again, this is the last meeting we're going to have before the election, unless Laura decides she needs some more input from us. We're scheduled to meet on November 16th, which will be the week after. And we want this, election cycle to go off as smoothly as possible. I do not know of any agreed upon debates.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything either.
No,
I'll
I
reach
don't
out.
either.
Nothing has been agreed to. It's been offers, no acceptance. So I don't think there'll be any debates.
Sorry, I had one quick comment. Just the timing of the VDS. The first town council meeting after the election would be the Thursday after the Tuesday. Is that right, Bill? So it's the same week.
Yes.
I think it's important that we cover it, or if anything, that would be of interest to a lot of people.
What's that?
The first town council meeting after the
Right, right.
election.
Uh,
So
That would be
Is-
December.
December.
They take office in December.
No,
So is that
I mean the
Thursday,
discussion,
this-
the debate.
Bill, is that Thursday, the swearing in, that town council meeting, or is that,
No, that's way further down. But
that's true, yeah.
Bill, the election is on what, the 7th, Tuesday, and then that's the week that DNR may be coming in, which would make live streaming from town council, from the council chambers, impossible until. I'm just saying that would be a meeting that I'm sure a lot of people would like to see live. It's not the swearing in or anything like that. It's just the first town council meeting
Right, right.
after the election, or whatever happened at the election will be discussed, I'm sure, at the town council meeting. And I'm sure a lot of people, including myself, would love to see what is being debated.
There are a couple, I mean, it could be held, I'm not, Bill and I had discussed that. I mean, it could be held via Zoom. And then it would automatically be streamed and visible to the public. There have been meetings
Okay.
held at the
we-
Long Hill building.
I'm just suggesting that we don't. I'm just suggesting that we have that town council meeting available to be live streamed.
Mhm.
And
Right,
I'm
and
not saying
yeah.
that's it has to be like that. I'm just expressing my own opinion that I think it would behoove us to have that, and
Right.
to
No, I'm
avoid
saying that
any criticism or conflicts with people or with our viewers, that we didn't stream the first town council meeting after the election. I think it's an important meeting, and I think
Really, it's out of our hands entirely because it all depends on when DNR is able to come in. If they're not able to come in to get the job done that week, we can't do anything about it.
No, I would love them
Obviously, if we
to
can.
not come in that week. Oh, I mean, are we not streaming from town council right now, or?
no, we're not. We
Oh,
can't
God.
speak from town
Okay.
council anyway.
Well, it just shows how much I know. Okay, I get it. Thank you.
Okay, so is there anything we need to be able to minimally record the system without any glitches? That meeting, I would say if we are not, I would say we should not be installing that week, because then you have the potential that we can't do anything, and we have to capture the meeting one way or the other, even if we can't live stream it.
Right. I mean, there's different levels of deconstruction of the equipment. Right. There's a lot of things that they're going to have to install and pre-run and pre-wire before they even start disassembling. The disassembly of the equipment will happen at the very last minute. So they're going to try and keep the room up and running as long as they possibly can before switching over to the new equipment. So I'm not sure what their daily plan would be, but we'll talk to them and see when it's possible to get them in and what our meeting schedule looks like.
Yeah, that's what I'm just looking for the town council.
There's never a good time.
Yeah, there's no good.
Council meets that first Thursday. We're very light that week because of election day. They're the only major group that would meet that week in the council chambers. The following week is also fairly light. We can shuffle things around, but I have to check to see when they're available to come in, because they're obviously working for other clients as well.
Yeah, and getting them, their time is very tight.
I think the point though that we're making is that we also want to be cognizant, which Bill, I know you will be, of the meetings that are happening, overlaid with the installation process. And why am I having such a hard time finding the calendar?
You just have to click view all events, and then you'll be able to cycle to November.
View all events where?
Bottom right hand corner of the homepage, or view all meetings.
Oh, there's the town calendar. All right. That's what I couldn't find.
And I mean, if I'm the only one who thinks this is important, then just ignore it. But
No, I agree.
We are
No,
providing a service.
The whole reason why we're doing this project is to provide easier access to live stream and remote access to the meetings.
Right.
So this has been a long time coming, and as soon as we get it up, we want to try and start using it.
Okay.
So
I just get the feeling that I'm the only one who brings up. I mean, I'm the one talking. 90. Well, am I alone? Do you?
No, but you're the one that's most finely tuned into this, and so that's part of the role.
Well, then let me know if what I'm saying makes sense to you. I'm just talking into a void.
So Jens, your concern is that meetings in council chambers will not be able to be recorded if.
No, I'm specifically, I'm interested in the municipal election, maybe to a point that, I'm more than the normal, what's normal these days? Average citizen, right? So when I propose some of these things, when I highlight some of these things, I'm not sure if I'm the only one with that, approach, or if I'm the only one who feels that way. Well, and I'm not really. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I appreciate your approach, because if the most concerned citizens are getting what they want, then chances are everybody else's needs are being addressed as well. But my question to you is that November 9th town council meeting, is your concern that it won't be recorded and or live streamed? Like, what would be your ideal situation of that council meeting's result? Like, is it being live streamed?
Right. So as an observer of Trumbull politics, and I've deliberately detached myself from it, but here I am on the commission. I'm just really interested in how the leadership of this town is put together, and what the dynamics are, and who is saying what, and who is for what. I mean, we have some on the slate that want to ban books from the schools and from the library, and that gets my interest up, and I want to know what's going on. I want to know what's being said.
Let me ask, what's stopping us from live streaming that event?
Well, we can't live stream from council chambers because the TriCaster is so old and out of date that,
which is why we're replacing.
We cannot do it, which is why we're replacing the equipment.
And it has been a very long slog.
But we can live stream outdoors, right, at graduation,
because we have different equipment for that.
Right. I'm saying, why don't we could always use different equipment for this? No.
But then we need, again, we could, but here the thing is, when we do those live streams, it's a multi-staff, you know what I mean? There's multiple people that have to be there. I have to be there. Other people have to be there.
There's also an audio concern too.
And to put a finer point on this, if the composition, which it will, of the town council changes, that change will not take effect until the December meeting when they get sworn in. So November, 2 days after the election, it'll be the same people that have been there the whole time. So our capturing of that meeting will be the same as it's always been, because we can't live stream. It will go up on the channel within the next day or two. Hopefully, I'm assuming if we've got the month of November to play with, to get DNR in to do all of the transitioning, the December meeting with all of the new members and whatever new leadership happens, we will be live streaming by then.
My suggestion would be to just hold the meeting and then post it up the next day without live streaming. If we're in the middle of a project that makes live streaming unavailable. I think if people are so intent, we can announce that in advance that this, we're doing a reconstruction. The won't be live streamed, but we posted the day after. If you need to know that moment, go to the meeting.
Well, and that's always been, frankly, that's always been TCTV's stance. We're providing a service, but these meetings are happening and they are open to the public and available.
Excellent point. Excellent.
I'd rather make sure that the process got started earlier so that it'd be up sooner for the next meeting, so.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, we're not treating this meeting any different than we have all the prior meetings.
Right.
Until we
right.
get the live streaming capability, so. To Ed's point, I agree, as long as, we have it up within a day or whatever,
Okay,
everyone should be satisfied.
that makes sense. Yeah,
Okay, so we're good,
I'm good.
unless Bill can get them to squeeze us in before the end of October. Unlikely. But again, I think the real fun starts in December with
Yeah.
whatever the new makeup of the town council.
Right, and also the coverage of on election night, which is under our control. So
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. Very good discussion. But Jens, I don't think, I think each of us, the idea is for each of us to bring our points of view and the things that we're concerned about to this commission. So
Right.
to me, the fact that you're the hyper political guy, that's fine, right? And that's what we need from you. Is if somebody else is paying attention to the Trumbull sports scene, that they should be bringing that up. It's you're not being political per se. You're the person that's watching that the whole arena happening, and I don't find your focus on this to be anything but helpful to us.
I find that the comments out there are just, they're completely out of order, and I guess ignoring them is probably the best way to go about it. But there is an undercurrent out there about us deliberately.
Well, do you have suggestions on how we correct that? Because that to me, that's part of the problem with the political dialogue in general, is that how do you convince anybody that doesn't want to be convinced?
Oh, you can't. We're past that stage, and I think ignoring it, making sure we know about it, but otherwise just not getting engaged on. I think Vince said that don't get engaged on social media. It is a road to ruin.
Yeah, I can't.
It's a lose-lose.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. And this is not the first. This is not the first that I've heard of these types of accusations. This has been happening for as long as I've been working for the station.
And our meetings are public. Anybody can come on and offer their opinion. I've never gotten an email ever in the 20 years I've been on this thing from anybody complaining. So people like to complain, but they don't actually want to try to do anything about it. So if they really wanted to do something, they would offer to be on the commission, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I've gotten messages
to be on this.
I've gotten messages through Facebook that I've addressed where I can. And, again, I have it in my email address. The station's email address is not hidden. I don't hide it. Like I said, this mom reached out and said, hey, I sent something. How do I get in touch with the station? I said, TrumbleTV@TrumblePS.org. Email me. That goes right to me and I will see it.
Right.
So
and we have had technical issues. We have had mistakes. We, like we're human, accidents, like stuff happens. But in this climate, all of those things are open to being conspiracy driven, which, we know we're just a volunteer commission trying to do the best we can with a budget of less than $100,000 a year to cover as much as we possibly can.
Right. And be as unbiased as we possibly can and not,
I think it's all good, but, there are people out there who think differently, which is the way it's supposed to be.
I guess. And if there's events that people think we should be covering, they should be letting us know. We're not like mind readers.
And again, people can send messages on social media. I do check the Facebook page. I check the messages. I mean,
Okay, I'm happy with I'm glad we had this talk, as they say.
Any solution, but you got it off your chest. And that feels a little better. All right, I've got a 9 o'clock. I got to jump on. Thank you for the extended time today, you guys. I think that these were important things to talk about, and You know, it's a rough world out there right now.
It's-
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're
so
covering
All
it.
when our equipment works.
What could possibly go wrong? Come on.
Oh my God, don't even. All right, so I'm calling the meeting adjourned at 8:55. Or somebody needs to make a motion.
I
Can,
make a motion
okay,
to
second.
adjourn.
Come on, Ed, I need a second from you.
Second.
All right, all in favor of adjourning.
Bye.
Thanks, you
Okay.
guys.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
I did have a
Bye.
post question though.
What?
This dinner, is that thing something that people go to?
Dinner?
The boards,
I
the
was
boards
gonna
and
go, yeah.
commissions dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never gone. I probably should. I just,
What,
Like,
20
one
years
more-
and you've never gone?
I know, can you believe it?
Yeah.
It's just, it's all, first it used to run into PTA things and now I'm just tired.
Oh, yeah, there could be something.
So
Kate, I feel that.
just like, especially October, like every organization I have even a remote connection to is having some sort of dinner this month. It's like, okay, let's spread COVID and the flu everywhere.
Hmm.
So feel free, Ed, to represent for us. That would be awesome. But we have
I'll be going. I'll be
You-
seeing you there, Ed, if you go.
okay, good. So yeah, we have not ever had an organized, everybody has to
Okay.
go. There's not a TCTV table. That if there is, it's empty. usually.
Alrighty,
If you'd
All
like
right.
to represent, that would be great.
thank you.
Okay,
Thanks, you guys.
bye.
Okay, see ya. Bye.
See ya.